from these guys. What is it about this team that makes them so good, in your opinion?
When I first started playing at the World Cup, and one of my first...
What is up? This is Liberty from the future, just coming in to let you know that this is a re-upload of a video that I previously had on my other channel. Any technical difficulties or inaccuracies in the information should be ignored as if they were 3 years old, because this video is in fact 3 years old. I have not changed it. This is simply a re-upload because it is content that better fits this channel than my old one. So please watch, thank you, and I hope to see you in the next one. What this video and Seagull don't quite cover are the social, political, and cultural reasons why Korea is producing so many of these gaming stars. Hi, my name is Liberty Inaga, and this is my project on why Koreans are so good at games. Otherwise known as How Do Tiger Moms Create Pro Gamers. So, let's get into this. In my research, I came across 3 main reasons to suggest Korea's gaming prowess. The first is that Korea is an electronic nation and very easily the most plugged-in country in the world. It's no secret that Asian countries are at the forefront of technology, but Korea is easily at the top. This started in recent history. Coming out of the Cold War, Korea was a country impoverished and beaten down. South Korea's government had a plan to get the country back on track. Part of this plan was getting the country online. When they did, everyone went online at the same time. About 90% of South Korea has broadband service, and their connection is 4 times faster than the internet speed in the US. The government provides subsidies to companies and tax credits to individuals, while also pushing for more corporate competition to get the best service and most widely accessible internet in the world. With this surge in technology and innovation, Korea became a pinnacle of success. Everything they do well, and the country is now one of the wealthiest, most educated, and highest standards of living in the world. The second reason comes out of its society. It's fairly well known that most Asian countries went through a period of Confucianism that still holds strong on Asian societies today. South Korea in particular has a very high standard for education. That, mixed with strong Confucian ideals and intense nationalism, can create extreme pressure on young people. Korea has the highest suicide rate in the world. Essentially, young Koreans find themselves in a place where they're stressed, tired, and afraid of failure. So what do? They lock themselves in their rooms and play games. This is similar to the event of otaku in Japan. In fact, the word otaku literally means one who stays inside. Gaming as a hobby has become the ultimate form of escapism. Online games in particular provide an infinite timeline inside another world with a plot that never ends. Now that games are so popular, it's a cultural norm for young Koreans to spend more time in PC bongs, otherwise known as game rooms, as opposed to clubs. Now it is a career to look up to. A life as a professional gamer. The last part of my project has to do with nationalism and the immense support the region now has for pop culture. Even though esports came out of a dark background, professional players are now regarded as the rock stars of the nation, going on to represent their nation globally and bring home huge prizes in a thriving industry. Now that games are big, the players not only have the people behind them, but the government support, including the Korea Esports Association, which not only funds large ventures in gaming, but makes sure players aren't getting into trouble and staying safe. With an entire nation's support and its money, it's no wonder that the South Korean players are thriving and dominating on the global esports scene. And to that, there are children now who play games and intend on becoming professional players one day. It's a real career path, and this industry will continue to grow as the West and mainstream media buys into esports as a real thing. But don't just take my word for it. I conducted some small interviews and had other casual conversations about the topic, which may shed some light, from gamer to gamer, about the ideas of Korea perceived internationally. I'll just ask you the question. Why are Koreans so good at gaming?
Oh, that's a mysterious topic. Yeah. I like to think it's something in the water.
Yeah.
Like there's just this Adderall drip, gerbil style. Oh, that's true. It could be kimchi. But I have eaten kimchi, and it didn't make me any noticeably better at StarCraft.
Like every day of your life, though. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
You don't know, man.
I don't know, man. Maybe some serious dedication and the fact that the country doesn't frown on it and glorifies it.
Right. Keep going.
So I think that has to do, like, a big part of it. I'm not tremendously familiar with the Korean culture and the way society works there, but I think a big part of it comes from the fact that if someone wants to be StarCrafting, 30 hours a week or more, it's not really frowned on.
Well, I know you like Japanese stuff, so what about why do Japanese people love anime obsessively? Like, why is that a thing?
I don't know. It's probably a bunch of different factors working simultaneously. I mean, like, anime didn't really explode until, what, like 30 years ago? Something like that. And we're coming through Japan's post-World War II kind of economic renaissance where they're producing a lot of electronics and things like that.
So I can explain it a little bit if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first of all, I think everyone knows this. China, Korea, Japan, incredibly tech savvy, first of all. When I think about Korea and Japan, two of the highest suicide rates in the entire world, and when I delve deeper into it, because I'm in the class right now, and we were talking about essentially otaku and what otaku really means, and what we were saying was people who essentially felt like they weren't accepted in society closed themselves in and did stuff like watch anime, play video games.
Oh, like the NEET movement.
Yeah, the NEET movement, essentially. But that's like a widespread thing in these other countries as opposed to here.
Yeah, it's an actual problem. It's not just, oh, Billy's a shut-in. It's Billy is like one of 1,000 other peoples in this town who just lives inside, minimizes all his social contact.
Out of this, we're coming into this age of where Korea specifically has a great sense of nationalism, and so we're getting people who are repressed, love games, and want to do something for their country. And so what are they doing?
Playing StarCraft.
Playing StarCraft, yeah, basically.
Why are Koreans so good at games?
So I've heard like a number of different reports that, you know, obviously there's a lot of like joking involved. I think in general, it probably has to do with like the culture in Korea. I think just across the board, entertainment is embraced like much more in Korea. Korea has a very strong entertainment industry. Like, you know, if you look at, you know, their like music industry, their like dance industry, their like art industry, like it has a very strong presence, especially like with the country's like youth. And not only that, Korea has like I think across the board like a Korean, like just like Koreans have like a really strong work ethic. So I think the fact that gaming and entertainment is like destigmatized in Korea, plus the fact that, you know, these basically like Korean gamers, you know, have this incredibly strong work ethic where they'll practice like upwards of like 10 hours a day, like from a very young age. And, you know, they kind of go through this path of like, you know, you get to a certain age and you join like a gaming house, and, you know, there's like these companies that sponsor you. Like, I think it's the culture that breeds the like the top talent in Korea.
Why are Koreans so good at video games? So the project that I'm doing, I'm essentially writing about
stereotypes.
No, how is it that Asian countries like Korea, China, and Japan have come to fruition in such a way that they're good at so many different things and they essentially take up the entire market?
Well,
so is it like a cultural thing?
In terms of electronics, Japan, China, Korea, I want to say most Asian countries, but I know that's wrong because Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam are not the same thing.
Yeah.
But most advanced Asian places, they're very good with electronics because most of the time that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a huge stereotype because not all of them are, but the ones that do are normally really good. Because if you think about it, let's take a look at the Koreans, okay? Actually, we can take a look at most Asian people that I know.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think. Okay, hold on. I can only think of one Asian person that I know besides myself and a friend that has not built their own computer. Put that into perspective. All the Asian people, except for one that I know, has not built their own computer. These children are led to believe that, okay, they have to be super smart, and the first thing they think of is electronics, doctor, you know, all these little things. Well, I don't want to say little things. I'm thinking of like surgeons and like those people that build microchips the size of bacteria or whatever. Sorry. So like in those cultures, the men mostly commit suicide because they failed themselves. Not because they failed their family, but they failed their own expectation of themselves, and then their family is just like, that's also there.
Societal
so
pressures, yeah.
Exactly. Which is a part of what happens here.
Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to link a Vice documentary about the world of esports, particularly that of League of Legends in Korea. If you want to see some more Overwatch gameplay from me, be sure to subscribe and keep up with any new content I put up on this channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.